Hey friends, welcome back to the channel Football Analytics. Today I'm going to be giving out tips for Saturday and Sunday, the weekend. For the newcomers, I suggest to bet on goals instead of outcomes of games. And if your budget allows it, try to bet on singles or doubles at max instead of the huge accumulators. And before we dive into the tips, I made a vlog. I'm going to be posting daily predictions there from now on. So the weekends are going to be for YouTube and Monday through Friday are going to be on the blog. Also, we might be hearing some background noise throughout the video. There's some construction work going on, so apologies for that in advance. Now, let's start off in the Serie A for Saturday. We got a game between Bologna and Sassuolo. Bologna is currently 8th in the league. They dropped down a bit because they haven't won since last year. They got 2 draws, 2 losses. And their last game was against Milan, where they played really well. They got a point in Milan, which is always impressive to do, but Milan missed 2 penalties, and Bologna scored theirs right in the end. But it was well deserved. And their opponent Sassuolo is another team that's struggling. Only 1 win in the last 5 games. Their away form is terrible, 4 losses in a row, and they're not scoring. That's like unlike Sassuolo, which we knew in the past few years where they used to have a lot of high-scoring games, and they only got 1 goal in the last 4 games away. So I'm going to ride with Thiago Motta and the boys here to score over 1.5. Of course, we're running the risk of the game ending 1-0. Odds are currently at 188, so that's going to be my first tip for Saturday. Now, for the second tip, let's head to AFCON quarterfinals, a game between Mali and Ivory Coast, the hosts. So basically all the favorites are out now besides Nigeria, which by odds right now is the favorite to win it all at 3. Then we got Ivory Coast, which is pretty surprising at 375. And my dark horse pick is Mali. The odds are currently at 7. And I prefer them over Ivory Coast in this game as well. I think they're the better team. Ivory Coast are lucky to be in this position. They lost some games pretty badly. But of course, we're running the risk of the game ending 0-0. Teams don't have to win 90 minutes. They can go to extra time penalties, which already occurred in a few of the games during this AFCON. But I'm liking Mali here just to score, the safest pick, my favorite pick of all time. And the odds are currently at 165, so see for yourself on this one. But I'm rolling with Mali just to score. For the third tip, we're heading to LaLiga, a game between Alaves and Barcelona. Alaves has been such a solid team as of late, 10 points in the last 4 games, 3 dubs in a row, so they made some distance between them and the relegation zone. Even though the teams that they beat were the weaker opponents. And the last 4 games that Alaves played at home were all under 1.5, so it was always a 1-0, either a win or a loss. And their opponent Barcelona, finally in a long time, seems like they played a normal game under Xavi, only a 1-0 victory. Compare that to the few past results that they had, which were insane against Villarreal, where they lost 3-5, then Athletic Bilbao. So this game could be tricky to predict, but I doubt that Barcelona will actually go 2 games without conceding. Alaves are really solid at home. I'm liking both teams to score here. The BTTS option is currently given at 177. So that's going to be my third tip, that Alaves and Barcelona will both score. Now for the fourth tip, we're heading to the Premier League, a game between Burnley and Fulham. Burnley are still in the relegation zone. I believe they're going to relegate. They did, however, for punter, score a huge goal against Man City away in extra time if he had the BTTS option. But besides that, Burnley are the worst team by far at home. They only have 1 win and 1 draw in 11 games. Their opponent Fulham just signed Broja from Chelsea, which they desperately needed because they only scored 2 goals in the last 5 games, and it's also been a while since Fulham won a game. I like the odds here of Fulham over 1 goal here at 150. Over 1 means, by the way, a refund. So Fulham scores 1 goal, you get your money back. If they score 2, you win the bet. You'll only lose the bet if they don't score at all, so get a website that has this bet. And also, if you're betting on accumulators, you can also put that game in. I think it could be even worth the risk here of going over 1.5 on Fulham at 226. Now, let's start off with the Sunday's tips. We got a game between Osasuna and Celta. Now, as we said, Osasuna just lost to Barcelona 1-0. But at home, they have been really decent. In the last 5 games, they got 3 straight victories and 2 draws, while their opponent Celta has 3 losses in a row, 2 consecutive games in the league without scoring. But when Celta plays away, they scored in 4 straight. I'm liking the BTTS option here. The bookies are giving us over 2. And in general, LaLiga has been one of my favorite leagues to bet on in terms of goals. You get high value odds for both teams scoring especially. So the odds are currently at 2.05 for Osasuna and Celta both to score. Now for the second tip, let's head to Bundesliga, a game between Wolfsburg and Hoffenheim. This game has a lot of interesting streaks going on. First of all, that Wolfsburg has played 3 consecutive times, exactly 1-1. And then you got Hoffenheim, who started the season with 6 consecutive away victories, and now it's been 5 losses in a row. But my favorite stat of all here is that since 2018, every single game between those two teams went BTTS, and I like for that streak to continue. Odds are not great because it's the Bundesliga, but my tip here is for Wolfsburg and Hoffenheim both to score at 154. Now for the third tip, we got the game of the week, Arsenal against Liverpool. This may be one of the decisive games for the title because Arsenal is finally back on track after 3 consecutive losses. Now they got 2 dubs in a row. One against Nottingham, which was impressive. They're currently 5 points away from Liverpool. Those two teams just recently met in the FA Cup, where Liverpool won in the end 2-0. And this Liverpool team has been scoring at will. They just dominated Chelsea the last game, and that's all without Salah. I like what the bookies are giving us here. Simply, for Liverpool to score over 1 goal here, it's at 155. And I can predict the outcome of the game. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think Liverpool is going to be scoring at least 1 goal here. Now for the last tip on Sunday, let's end it in the Serie A. We got a game between Atalanta and Lazio. This is a massive one in terms of European places, because in the table there's currently 7 teams that are just 5 points away from the Champions League spot. Now Atalanta has been a really solid team at home. They're actually the 3rd best one behind Juve and Inter, of course. They got 6 victories in a row, few consecutive clean sheets. And this Lazio team is coming off a 0-0 draw against Napoli, which we unfortunately had. But it does happen in Serie A. Too much for my liking. And they actually haven't scored in 2 games in a row. I'm looking for them to end Atalanta's positive streak, especially without conceding. But we're playing it safe as usual, just for Lazio to score at 151. So that's going to be my final tip for Sunday. Guys, this is it for this weekend. We got 8 tips in total. If you support the info that I provide, hit the thumbs up. Good luck, even if you're not going to be taking any of these games. Bet responsibly, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Adios.